Hi, and welcome to, or back to, my channel. I'm Kit, and here we talk about the harmful beliefs and ideas that come from religion, red pill, and so on. And today, well, FreshandFit were demonetized, and their reaction to it was interesting. I was struggling with how to describe FreshandFit, so I've decided to let their YouTube bio do it for me. Welcome to FreshandFit, the #1 men's self-improvement podcast in the world. We provide the truth to men on females, finances, and fitness. I would say their claim to fame is actually their live streams with girls, where they purport to show men women's true nature by bringing young women on, giving them alcohol, and then shouting at them. Sometimes they have guests such as Nico and Rollo Tomasi, and recently they've been getting more adventurous. But after 3 years of this, YouTube has demonetized them. Also, the building where they film wants them out as well. How will these bastions of manhood react to their troubles? Let's find out. And before we get into it, I would like to note that I don't know Fresh or Fit, and these are my thoughts and opinions. And I'm sorry if my voice sounds off. I'm recovering from a cold, and the voice is the first thing to go and the last thing to come back. All that being said, thank you for joining me, and I would like to give extra thanks to my patrons. First, let's watch their intro at 1.5 speed because it's rather long, but so funny. Very professional, clearly a lot of time and effort went into this, and yet when I saw the three men slow-mo striding toward the camera, I just about lost it. They really do think there's something. Hats off to FreshandFit though, they know what their target audience wants. I am so curious though, can anyone tell me why the other man is only referred to as Fresh Prince CEO? What is he the CEO of? What makes him fresh? Why Fresh Prince? Is this a reference to Will Smith? Anyway, we are here today to discuss why these two were demonetized, and they'll be the first to tell you everything except why, actually. They totally never saw this coming.
As you guys know, we had a show scheduled earlier with Psych Hacks, but we had to cancel because we got some really, sucky news.
Crazy news.
Yeah, crazy news, real talk.
Yeah.
They are, however, taking it hard.
Is this the end, bro? Because we got some bad news, man. When I heard that, I was shocked because, we love YouTube, man.
They didn't love YouTube enough to not break TOS, but anyway, Fresh tells us they love streaming and they can still stream. They just can't get money from ads anymore and people can't super chat. Fresh goes on to tell us that at this point, it feels like their whole lives revolve around streaming. Myron agrees, and so maybe this is a blessing in disguise because that doesn't sound healthy. From here, Myron goes into how this whole thing came about. In 2020, he was a special agent with Homeland Security, and Fresh worked tech support for Wix. They wax nostalgic about their first episode, and then, shortly after launching the podcast, Myron received an email from Internal Affairs asking him to come in for an interview.
And what ended up happening is I had to make a really tough decision that month. I remember going back and forth, trying to negotiate, trying to figure out what we're going to do. And, they're like, no, you have to pick one. You have to either, you're going to be a YouTuber or you can be a special agent of Homeland, but you're not going to do both. And I had to make that decision. I remember you were there.
Yeah.
We had Andrew here. And I was like, well, we got people working for us now. There's people that depend on us. You had to pretty much quit your gig. So I was like, all right, I'm going to resign.
Myron informs us that it was a good job, 6 figures, stable, it was fun, and he enjoyed it, and he told us that story because he hadn't felt like that since, until today. I'm guessing the feeling he's referring to was that oh shit moment when you've been caught out in something. Except this time, the choice isn't between a government job and YouTube. Myron tells us that it really does suck, but they made some moves and they kinda knew that the type of content they make comes at a cost and it won't be here forever. All this to say, they were kicked off the YouTube Partner Program, which Fresh proclaims the beginning of the end. And then, right after telling us they thought this would happen sooner or later,
we're going to figure out what's going on because we don't even really know all the details. We're working with YouTube to try to come to a middle ground and, work together and figure this out. But for now,
we don't even know why.
We don't know the specific reason.
But we don't, in any form or fashion.
Well, they're not so bereft that the idea that they were kicked off for misogyny isn't funny to them. But no, they were not kicked off for that reason.
Public service announcement to all the strong, independent women out there that make $100,000 a year fucking plus.
I'm a single lady.
You will never be able to compete with a girl that's attractive and 21 that works at McDonald's, even though you're a boss babe that makes $100,000 plus a fucking year. It does not matter, bitch. I'm not going to the Lamborghini dealership with 300 bands to pay pay $300,000 for a Lambo with 200,000 miles on it, bro. It's bullshit. We need to start holding these women accountable. You want a dude that's 6 feet tall, $100,000 a year, gonna protect you in times of danger, take care of you, be a leader, 6-figure nigga, abs, all this extra shit, but you can't even be a fucking decent woman and not be a slut? Fuck out of here, bro. A lot of y'all are mad that you can't get girls, but the reality is girls can't even tell you what they want to eat for lunch. They're not stable creatures. They change by the day. They change by the hour. They're slaves to their emotions. You cannot let someone that is not congruent to who they are every single day, every hour of the day, control the way that you feel. Most women are when it comes to what the is really out there for them as a man. Why? Because this magical phrase called fear of missing out. Okay? When girls get this bug, it's like they're fucking crackheads. Oh, shit. Fear of missing out. I gotta go to the club. I gotta post on Instagram. I gotta be on a private jet. I gotta have these experiences that all these other are having on the internet. Oh, shit. I don't want to miss out. And her having that fear of missing out is her stepping out and dealing with other men, realizing, damn, it's not always cracked up to me. Feminism was a lie. You told me chasing my career, being having indiscriminate sex with a bunch of dudes is going to me up. I didn't know that. I thought it was going to be great because I saw it all over the internet. You guys got to get out of this mindset that thinking that women are like us. They're not like us. They're not honorable creatures. They don't have the same level of respect. Women have allegiance to one thing.
Themselves.
Their emotions and themselves,
yep,
guys.
emotions.
Okay? Honor is not a feminine trait. I'm going to say that again. Get it through y'all fucking heads, man.
It's not.
Honor is not a feminine trait, guys. It is a masculine trait. Women are literally hardwired and designed to stick themselves to the strongest male. It's a survival tactic.
That has been their content for 3 years. It did not suddenly become a problem now. If I had to guess, I would say it was probably having Nick Fuentes, who is banned off YouTube, on their channel and that whole racist incident that did it. I won't show that on my channel, but I'll link to an Abba and Preach video that discusses it. But these two are just so baffled, so surprised to find themselves demonetized. Unintentional rhyme. Speaking of which, Fresh says they don't want to hate YouTube or go at them, they just wish they knew why, and I am laughing.
But we respect, for them to use the platform and keeping us here for a while, and we appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm calling BS. The instant their monetization is reinstated, and I suspect it will be, if not already by the time this video goes public, they'll be back to their usual antics. Maybe they'll be a bit smarter though and keep certain things on Rumble. Anyway, Myron says they push the envelope and they give the real deal when it comes to getting in shape, money, dating, improving yourself, etc.
And unfortunately, to be able to give people real advice that they can take in real life and apply to the real world, you have to have uncomfortable conversations about uncomfortable topics in uncomfortable times. Guys, it's about to be an election year.
I'm sure their fans will disagree, but these two don't have conversations. They bring on women to yell at them and mock them, and they bring on men that agree with them. Maybe, sometimes, they'll bring on a man that they have some sort of disagreement with, but nothing too serious it will make Myron look bad. This is not the show you watch for serious conversations. It's a show where you can be assured that, if you're a man, the deck is stacked against you and it's women's fault. And no one is learning anything about female nature from watching Fresh and Fit. All they're learning is how to be a terrible person. Anyway, Myron says they bring up points that might not be politically correct, and they've worked really hard to bring people on that have different viewpoints, some of whom are very controversial, and I can't help but wonder if Myron believes that if a majority are against a person or a belief, there must be some merit to that person or belief. Myron concludes that that's the risk you take, and Fresh jumps in.
Even other platforms, look at Rumble. They're taking a huge beating on the stock market.
Yeah.
I mean, they're up.
Despite having one of the best years for revenue and for views and everything. And
so this comes at a cost, no matter who you are. Company, individual, creator.
Yeah.
Fresh cautions wannabe creators that at a certain level, it will cost you a price you have to pay, and today is the day he and Myron pay that price. I have to say that pay the price talk is very ominous, but apparently the price they have to pay was demonetization. They still have their platform and they were demonetized because of their own actions. It was entirely within their control. But I suspect they got away with their blatant misogyny for so long, they decided it was time to fly closer to the sun, and what a shock, their wings got burned. Myron goes on to assure the viewers that he looks at their messages and even saves them, and what?
When you guys send me your DMs and say, yo, you saved my life. Yo, you sent me a picture of your credit score. Yo, my girl is making sandwiches now or whatever it is, right?
One of these things is not like the other. Anyway, Myron goes on to say that it means a lot to them and they've kept a lot of men from killing themselves, injuring themselves, making really bad decisions, and this leads to...
What I'm asking you guys is, just like we've saved you guys, we need you guys to save us. We need you guys to support us on Rumble because that's the last bastion of free speech at this point.
Yeah.
What is he talking about? He's still free to speak on YouTube. He just can't make money off it. And then Myron tells us that you need to go to Rumble right now and subscribe for $5 a month. Anyway, Myron says that if they've saved you, they need you to save them now, and Fresh chimes in about how someone donated a lot of money and that's where the cameras come from or something, and they don't ask for much, just your support, and right now it needs to be on Rumble. They don't know at this point what could happen with YouTube, it's out of their hands, and they're going to play nice, but if you want their uncensored racism and sexism, it'll have to be through Rumble. Myron hates to have this conversation, but it's expensive to run their podcast, and they employ about 20 people.
We have people that work for us that legit have a need and depend on us.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for this current platform right now, they wouldn't eat. Neither their kids. So it's kind of like...
Perhaps you should have considered that when deciding to run a controversial podcast. It was bad enough to begin with, but then these two decided to bring Nick Fuentes on, and then that whole debacle with Abba and Preach. Why didn't they think about their employees before doing that? Anyway, Myron again stresses that they hate to be asking this because they were committed to giving free content, and then Fresh jumps in to add that they, on some level, are stable. Which on one hand is good, because no one wants to take financial advice from someone who apparently had no contingency plan or backup funds, but on the other hand, kind of weird to bring that up during a plea for money. But not to fear, they plunge right back into, but if you want us to keep the show running at this level, we need your money. Myra talks about backup equipment and what?
Like, y'all see me, I wear the same clothes. You guys make fun of me. Myron, you wear the same stuff. You got no drip, blah, blah, blah. I do it because I'm like, yo, the only thing that matters is the pod. Like, I don't care about me looking good and being flashy and all that stuff. And Fresh was like, nah, I don't care about it either. Like, he gave up all his cars pretty much, watches, all that stuff, because we're like, bro, we need to be all in with the podcast. We need to invest in the podcast.
So first, how much does tech support at Wix pay that Fresh could afford multiple cars? And second, is Myron aware of how bad this sounds? Yeah, investing in your business, but he's so bad at managing money that he can't wear anything except FreshandFit merch? I know they're trying to make their situation sound dire, but damn. Anyway, FreshandFit asks how many channels have failed trying to get girls on consistently, and they've been doing it for 3 years, and with their reputation, it's not easy to get guests or girls. Myron says he doesn't say this as a feel sorry for us, it's just that for them to run the show, it requires a lot of money, and they don't get sponsors because of the content they make. Myron wants to know who else is having these conversations and giving consistent value, and
we have saved more lives and saved more men's and impacted more men's lives than any other podcast on any platform.
And it shows.
I can concretely say that thanks to you guys.
And it shows wherever we go. Fresh and Fit, you guys saved my life. Yo, you changed my entire life. I'm now happy because I was so depressed. It's just like, wherever we go, Dubai, Canada, UK, even here in Miami. Romania. Wherever we go, man.
So Myron can't afford clothes, but they're traveling the world? Mark me down as skeptical. Anyway, Myron makes another plea for money, and Fresh tells us that they're going to be moving the studio to a bigger and better location, and maybe don't say that in the same live stream where you're begging for money, but as it turns out, that's not entirely true.
Guys, we're getting attacked on all angles. I've been whether it's the press writing articles on us, videos getting taken down that other channels are not getting taken down and it's the same exact content or whatever it may be, Rumble getting hit, right, for free speech, video, like just get strikes, whatever it may be. Guys, it's gotten to the point now where even where we shoot the location doesn't want us to stay here.
Yeah.
So first, if you get to be the size of Fresh and Fit and you pride yourself on tackling controversial topics, you can't be surprised when articles are written and videos are made about you. And second, their studio is an apartment. The only thing that surprises me is that they were allowed to film there for so long. But Myron reaches a different conclusion as to the reason for their woes.
There is a matrix, man. Like, I mean, we've talked about this with Andrew at length. Like, people don't want you guys to get this message, dude.
Even Rumble's under attack, too.
For a podcast that whinges about women refusing to take accountability, they sure do seem to be looking for any reason why nothing is their fault. It's all just an attack on free speech. The Matrix doesn't want you to get this message, they say while live streaming from their YouTube channel. But they're never going to say they don't like doing this. In fact,
I left a job that I truly loved to do this, right? Because shouldn't be admitting this, but saving children, right? That was great, but saving you guys is better.
When I saw this, my mind was blown. Not because men shouldn't show or be emotional, Myron here frequently explodes in anger, which is an emotion, but because these two preach against it. And also, what are they saving men from, and what did he save children from? I can hazard a guess about the latter, but the former is so vague. They say they've saved men say Fresh and Fit have saved them, but they give no details. And they don't have to, that's their personal business, but I'm sure it will surprise no one to hear that I am very skeptical toward the idea that the Fresh and Fit podcast is a net positive for society. Anyway, Myron's exit means Fresh is left on his own, and it's not great.
Yeah, man, this is tough, bro. Because we put our lives into this, you know? We didn't miss a day, honestly. It's tough. We gave up so much to give you guys value. So, yep. It's current status. But yeah.
Sometimes I feel bad for Fresh, and then I remember he's Myron's yes man. He asks Chris, the producer, how he's feeling, and that was probably the best course to take because he really seems lost without Myron there. Chris says it's tough and gives some shout outs, and then...
That's why I continue to work my ass off on getting high quality girls on the show. Even though some days I don't feel like dealing with these 304s, I still do it.
So they're high quality and they're 304s? Why do they say 304 anyway? Do they think they're being cute? With all the swearing on the show, why hold back on that one word? Chris ends by saying that he knows what the show means to viewers, and Fresh finds his voice.
Look at Myron, bro. Like, Myron, I mean, shit. I put in work, but Myron goes the extra mile just to give you guys, like, a piece of his soul, bro. Like this guy, like, legit, dedicated his life, left his career to be with you guys. And for anyone saying that this is fake, this is not fake at all. This is genuine.
Apparently, Fresh's praise overwhelmed Myron, so he had to excuse himself again. And maybe Fresh is being genuine, but I don't think Myron gave up his career because he cared about random men online. Being a special agent is hard. Being a YouTuber is easier. And I think he very much enjoys the fact that his job is to look cool and berate young women on YouTube and be praised for his intelligence and bravery for telling the 304s the truth. And no one challenges him. If they do, out they go, and the story is reworked into how angry, unreasonable, emotional, whatever she was, and how Myron is just looking out for men. Anyway, Fresh rehashes things previously said, Myron returns, and apparently this isn't about the money. He could walk away from all this and be okay.
What bothers me is if we're not able to be on YouTube, we might not be able to reach someone who really needs us.
Oh, okay. Now they're playing the we really care card, and again, they're still on YouTube. If they stop posting there as much, that's their decision. And I would like some examples of how they have helped someone. And no, things like you shouldn't base your worth on other people don't cut it as evidence that they're good for society, because you can get that advice anywhere. And I have to say, I'm having a hard time understanding how yelling at and about women improves men's mental health. They sprinkle in some fitness and finance advice, but shitting on women is the majority of their content. That is what their audience is there for.
If you guys saw the amount of messages I get where they say I was going to end it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I saw your video.
The question is, who else is going to do it? Who?
What an interesting tactic. They tell their viewers that men are to be stoic, they are to be the rock, the leader, and now they're trying to appeal to emotion. But don't worry, Fresh. There are plenty of channels that shit on women, and I'm sure one would be happy to take up the space your channel used to occupy. Another plea for money, but it's not for them, it's for their employees. Anyway, Fresh tells us that all their channels have been demonetized, and they bounce between we'll continue of course and for as long as we can. And hey, we can't end without a bit of misogyny.
Guys, man, don't forget, if you want to support Myron Gaines, get the book.
Get the book. I forgot about
Why Women Deserve More. It's a great book. You should read it. It helps you a lot.
So that was something. They seem to try every angle. We'll be fine, but the show needs your support to continue. We'll keep doing the show for love of our viewers, but we have employees that depend on us. We love what we do, and this is an attack on free speech. Basically, pick whichever reason resonates with you and give them money. It was a bit funny though, watching them try to say they do the podcast for love of men and not hatred of women. I'm not buying it. Men do need actual support, advice, and so on, but they're not going to get it from these two. I'll leave some resources below, including a link to FD Signifier's video on the situation. Now, let's move on to my favorite part, the comments. I'm unemployed at the moment, but I'm giving up a pack of my filthy cigarettes to support you guys each month. This podcast really can't be underestimated. I've been in a hole for so many years until I found you guys, and I've started taking the steps to improve. I'll be honest, Chris and Fresh annoy me, but I love you all. I'm here till the end.
Sad to say, I saw this coming. Thank you for doing God's work. I went from broke, depressed, out of shape to in shape and landing a well-paying job at a respected insurance company thanks to you guys. I am one of the people whom you saved. Thank you.
I discovered you guys right after my divorce a year and a half ago, and let me tell you that you guys completely changed my mindset, and I thank y'all for that. Fast forward to today, I'm in the best shape of my life and making tons of money.
Tate Brothers and Myron definitely changed my life. I'm 30 and I see my life finally going into the right direction. I wish I could have watched you guys in my teenage years, but yeah, spending my entire 20s being a male feminist taught me a lot of lessons. Watching your content definitely helped me shift from a miserable life. They can cancel Myron from social media, but they can't cancel all his supporters.
YouTube needs to stop promoting stuff that harms people and start helping channels like this that saves lives. You guys saved me, and I will never forget that.
Can't say you saved my life because I wasn't that depressed when I found you, but you definitely saved my future and saved me from being a broke POS with a victim mentality.
These are all so incredibly vague. No one has to share more than they're comfortable with, but I think the word save is being used very loosely here. And honestly, there are a lot of channels on YouTube that offer financial and fitness advice that don't see the need to perpetuate sexism and racism. Instead of throwing a pity party for yourselves, you should have just thrown a celebratory one, showing them and everyone else you'll be okay and you'll find a way to keep going. It was a weak move getting all emotional on camera like that. What happened to being stoic and strong? I think the point was that they won't be okay without additional support from their audience, but this comment doesn't surprise me. You keep telling men they won't be respected if they show emotion, those men will be unsympathetic when you do. I have to imagine the condo board and residents of the building hated all the commotion and different people coming by all the time. This is why commercial buildings exist. It's surprising you were able to run a show like this out of a condo for as long as you did. Imagine living in a condo and a podcast moves in. A podcast that deliberately courts controversy. I would be so upset. Myron was out here doing monkey chants with a KKK mask. What did y'all expect? Yeah, Myron and Fresh seem to have forgotten all about that. That video was removed though, so perhaps they're hoping most of their audience forgot as well. Why doesn't YouTube have a system of progressive discipline where content creators are given a warning on what they said or did that was wrong, and how saying or doing it again will get them demonetized if they do not admit wrong, apologize, and promise to sin no more? Why does it go from 0 to total cancellation with no intermediate steps or second chances? Does this person seriously believe that Myron and Fresh didn't know they were flirting with demonetization and that warning them would have stopped them? They pride themselves on being controversial. If they had received warnings, and I don't know if they did or not, it would have been spun as, YouTube is trying to limit our free speech. They don't want you to hear this message. And again, they were not canceled. Their viewers are as dramatic as they are. Speaking of, if 20,000 of us surrounded the YouTube building in Menlo Park or wherever it is and confronted them and said you can't just shut somebody down without telling them why, that's ridiculous. Nobody would accept a police officer pulling them over and saying, I'm not telling you why I pulled you over. I don't know how this is going on so long. This is absurd. This person is seriously trying to conflate cops with YouTube. But more to the point, Fresh and Fit weren't shut down. This comment was left on their YouTube channel. You are not guaranteed an income no matter what sort of content you make. I don't think they'll remain demonetized, and I don't think they'll learn anything from this. And even if Fresh and Fit do end up leaving YouTube, the fact remains that their misogyny wasn't enough to get them demonetized, though I'm sure this will be spun in red pill circles as proof that women control the world. And that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.